镜花水月，昨日辉煌，一朝称王之人为何而战？
状态起伏，皇冠不朽，为再度登峰造极而战。
后发之人咫尺后勇，逐梦离乡之人为何而战？
狼群散去，但听狮吼，为重回最高舞台而战。
前路漫长，多有磨难，久别功名之人为何而战？
不卑不亢，静候良辰，为击溃心中魔障而战。
百战千回，盛名难复，初心长远之人为何而战？
漫漫长路，甘为学徒，为骑士永不缺席而战。
静如平湖，稳若泰山，最新团队之人为何而战？
不为声名，不为强者，为众人齐心制胜而战。
金戈铁马，折戟黄沙，享尽荣光之人为何而战？
胜负成败，兵家常事，为无愧满身金甲而战。
激情四焰，天赋异禀，心愿未达之人为何而战？
春日遗憾，金秋奉还，为成长成熟成名而战。
正值巅峰，心存浩瀚，意气风发之人为何而战？
凤翼天翔，野火燎原，只为那梦中银杯而战。
好的，现场以及正在收看直播的各位召唤师们，大家下午好，欢迎来到我们的虹桥天地，观看2019英雄联盟职业联赛夏季赛的季后赛的比赛。今天呢，我们的现场也是邀请到了神秘嘉宾，让我们有请 WWE 超级巨星6次双打冠军、著名游戏频道 Up Up Down Down 的博主奥斯汀·克里德。Let's welcome our special guest, WWE Superstar, 6-time Tag Team Champion, host of the popular gaming channel Up Up Down Down, Austin Creed.
Yeah!
Hi, welcome to LPL. Austin, can you introduce yourself to our audience?
My name is Austin Creed. I'm WWE Superstar Xavier Woods, like you said, 6-time WWE World Tag Team Champion, and very excited to be here to watch some League of Legends.
在2周之前呢 ，Austin 他在他的社交媒体上说自己非常想来到 LPL 的现场看比赛。那现在呢，已经来到了现场，他感觉如何呢 ？2 weeks ago, you posted a video on your social media saying that you're really looking forward to watch LPL game on site, and here you are. How do you feel?
I feel amazing. I'm just really excited to feel the energy here in the arena today. So thank you very much for having me.
他觉得非常的激动，能够看到现场这么多非常可爱的粉丝，同时呢，也感谢我们邀请他来到现场看比赛。那我们很想知道的是，他到底为什么会要关注 LPL， 要来看 LPL 呢 ？And I really want to know what brought you here at the very beginning.
So just like everybody else here, I love League of Legends. I have a friend who's gotten me into watching the LPL, and to be here for the playoffs is absolutely fantastic. But I need everybody to know that in all of WWE, I'm the best at League of Legends.
Okay. 他说呢，其实一开始的时候，他跟在座的所有的一样，都是非常的喜欢玩英雄联盟的。同时，他有一个朋友也是介绍他了 LPL， 所以呢，这时候也是季后赛，所以他是非常开心能够来到现场看比赛的。同时，他要告诉现场以及直播间的各位，他是 WWE 里面玩英雄联盟玩的最好的人哦。
Whoa. Excuse me, Mr. Woods, but everybody knows that Cesaro is the WWE League of Legends expert, and Cesaro is the best League of Legends player in WWE. But not only that, I also know that Candice is the best host in LPL, so I brought you a gift. On behalf of WWE, we would like to invite you to our live event September 21st, right here in Shanghai at the Mercedes-Benz Arena.
哇，其实呢，我们看到在我们身边的这一位呢，是我们的 Cesaro， 也是我们 WWE 的超级巨星，而且他自己说他是 WWE 里面玩英雄联盟玩的最好的专家，而不是我们的 Austin。同时，他也认识我，知道我是 LPL 的一位非常了不起的主持人，还给到了我一张他们的9月21号在梅赛德斯奔驰的 WWE 的超级现场秀的一张门票。 Thank you very much for your gift. Thank you. Thank you.
See, you come out here and you're trying to butter up the host. You're so nice giving out tickets. But we all know that I'm better than you. Ni bu xing.
Whoa, Leo.
两位在刚刚呢也是对于他们的英雄联盟的水平进行了一个激烈的讨论。那我们接下来呢也要邀请我们的两位特约的嘉宾帮我一个小忙，就是请出我们今天季后赛的两支队伍。Okay, could you do me a favor, please? Help me introduce the two teams. Okay.
All right. 欢迎 EDG。
好的，让我们掌声欢迎 EDG 上单 Jinoo 打野Jiejie，中单 SwordArt， 下路 iBoy， 辅助 Meiko。Okay, now it's your turn, Aussie.
欢迎 Sony Gaming。
接下来，让掌声欢迎出苏宁，有请上单 Angel， 打野 FLICKR， 中单 Meiko， 下路司马老贼，辅助 SwordArt。好的，再一次欢迎我们的两支战队。那接下来呢，也是有请我们的两位嘉宾跟我们一起为季后赛的两支战队加油。Could you cheer for our two teams right now?
EDG, Sony Gaming.
好的，再一次感谢我们的两位嘉宾。同时呢，我们今天的季后赛也即将要开始了。我们的 LPL 季后赛第一日 ，EDG 对战苏宁即将开始，让我们一同期待这一场精彩的对决。接下来有请我们两支战队进入。
Thank you very much, Candice. Thank you very much, Xavier Woods. And of course, Cesaro for joining them on stage. An exciting way to come in, but I'm sure something that can be toppled. Clever Chew. I'm Hysterics, and because we lost a bet against Raz for predictions in the split, here we are.
Rasterdamus, this is for you. I actually like the style quite a lot.
I can't even bloody see! Raz is like, oh yeah, I'll get you a punk wig. I mean, this is just ridiculous. So, a great way to start off the LPL playoffs. Welcome again to everyone in a global audience. As we know, we go into playoffs and we start introducing ourselves back to people in NA, EU. And what a way to reintroduce ourselves on the LPL in this broadcast.
Yeah, definitely. I was getting worried for Candice right there because I thought they were going to start pulling some moves just on the stage. And you really want to avoid that situation.
Candice will take them down. There's no dramas there, but good to have WWE involved, Clement.
Yeah, definitely very exciting, and we have to look at the brackets for this overall playoff stage. WWE might have found their way here, but W unfortunately has not. Jiejie Gaming and DMO are going to be out of Spring Split, and the newcomers are BLG, Suning, and LNG. So we're seeing a lot more new teams coming into this
We're left with our top 8, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and take a look at that bracket, because as we talk about our top 8, we start talking about who's going to make the journey to the top.
Yeah, definitely. And one side, you have the two most dominant teams in RNG and IG on the lower bracket. And in the upper bracket, it is the new Kings in FPX and BLG. Great spring and summer regular season split performances from them. And just going over the format, all matches will be best of 5. And the higher bracket can decide on 3 dynamic side selection choices in each of the series.
And remember, because we're going to Worlds, it's so important that we start talking about points as well. Championship points for these teams will not come easy, and that's why the journey, the road up the bracket is so important, because here in summer, more points, and of course, the chance to go to that regional final as the 3rd seed.
Yeah, super important. This time, the LPL does not start from the play-in stage. All 3 teams will go from group stages onwards, and just looking at the current points, FPX, IG, and Top Esports are guaranteed at least a gauntlet start.
Yes.
So they will have a place there, and looking downwards, 5 is the magic number, 2 go to Worlds, and then 3 go into the gauntlets. Royal never give up. Even at 5th, if they lose, they're simply out.
That's right. It gets dangerous at this point, and we don't know who's going to be representing. A lot of strong teams, all 8, I would argue, have their berth towards Worlds, but you have to run the journey. You have to run this gauntlet, and then we bring ourselves to our first matchup. The first one starting off playoffs. Suning, EDG, 2 teams who weren't in that gauntlet in spring, who need to make the miracle run.
Yeah, definitely. Suning is our newcomer so far. We'll take a look at our 8th seed. Their team strengths, you know, this is a new squad in Spring Split that lost launching over the summer to RNG. Now they're running with Angel as their quote-unquote top laner, but going into their strengths, very good masters of the global compositions. They are our ambush predators. They love to pounce on people that overstay in the side lanes. They shut down side lane split pushers and sieges in that area. And then their two major carries, great flex pickers. A lot of times, Angel, you just don't know which lane he's going to. His entire champion pool in the top side can be played mid as well.
That's true. He's played both roles successively, and when you have Maple, when everyone out there should be looking at Maple and going, was that the Flash Wolves mid laner? Well, yes. His 2019 has been back and forth, but he's hoping to succeed up with the level of the likes of Smlz.
Definitely. Smlz is the late game guarantee for this team. Second highest DPM of any player in the LPL. And right now we're taking a look at Suning in action. Yep. They love to run these semi-global compositions.
The ambush Clement.
Yeah, when you're in River, it's so easy for them to catch you out. Karthus is a big pick for Weiwei if he does come into the series today. Yep. And this is a perfect example of how teams that don't necessarily think 2 steps ahead can fall prey to Suning. They are so good at the over-aggressive teams in the LPL, which there are many, and they always pull the same tricks over and over again.
I love it.
They go in for an initiation, and suddenly SwordArt is there with Abyssal Voyage, or he's tagged on to someone as a Yuumi, and there's all 5 members in the top side.
I love it. 6-dimensional chess here for Suning, where you compare and you look at, all right, cool, the ambush style is there, and as you were mentioning, Smlz has the carry pants on towards the late game. He's got some unique pocket picks to go with it as well.
Oh, he's known as the Chinese sniper because he does have that Jin Pig. Now, Smlz, a lot of you might have heard his name. He's known as the best Chinese AD carry to never go to Worlds just yet. Yeah. And the way that he's improved this split is truly very momentumous. He has cut down on the number of deaths in lane. He's roaming with SwordArt a lot more. So this split, he's getting much better numbers in his damage output and much higher kill participation as well.
Which we needed to see. It was the strength of having someone like Maple in the roster. Smlz needs to go hand in hand. And I love that we're seeing a Jin pick this late into the split for Smlz when it is Suning's kind of tournament life on the line when they're approaching towards the bracket.
Definitely helps them just pick off targets from afar, fits their style very well, and has long been associated with Smlz as a person.
Yeah, it definitely has. Now, remember, we have to look at another team in this game, and although Suning have a very unique style, in a way, EDG do as well. Everyone knows EDG, and running into this bracket as 5th seed, you're starting to question whether they can make the run because they didn't get points in spring.
Yeah.
If they lose here, they are out.
Exactly. They did fall 0-3 to what is now DMO in the Spring Split Gauntlet, so they have a lot of ground to make up.
That's true.
But looking at their strengths, they have a great baseline to start with. They are our 3rd best laning team in the entirety of the LPL. I would say only FPX and Top Esports are better than them. All 3 of their lanes are consistently in the lead, and their bottom side is just bang. They have a lot of kill lanes, and you can see that reflected in the amount of dragon control rate they have as well. Very strong bottom side, always an EDG strength, always their tradition.
Yeah, a lot of Zyrakan down in that bottom lane to give you an easy example. Then we move on to the new jungle change. Remember, everyone associates EDG with Meiko Scout, but also Clear Love has become very iconic. Jiejie makes his debut this split, and we haven't seen nor hide nor hair of the famous jungler.
The veteran actually misses his first split in EDG history, has not played a single regular split game, and there has been a big shift in terms of style. Jiejie is much more in your face. He's rough and tumble, he's willing to take the 1v1s, and this split, Olaf and Xin Zhao have been his best champions. He just goes in solo, establishes visions. A lot of times there's less roaming between him and Meiko, but he can do the job by himself.
Yeah, he can. Remember, we're talking about a lot about the Karthus for Weiwei. Well, Jiejie's played that a little bit too, so there is some overlap in champion pools, and as we get a closer look at EDG and their form right now, remember that this team, fighting all the way up, is still the 5th seed. They still come through towards the end of the split with arguably a stronger performance.
Yeah, definitely. I would say EDG are the favored ones in this one, and we have to talk about their best performing player, and that has to be Scout. He is the best assassin in the entirety of the LPL. He's really honed down his champion pool to favor those. Aurelia, the Akali, and the Kiana are the big picks coming in for him. He also defines the EDG teamfight style. He's always looking for the flank, coming in on the dark side of vision, and then just picking off the backline without being noticed a lot of times.
Well, Scout's Akali has left an imprint on my mind, and then, as we're talking about before, I love this moment. We had to talk about this because Jiejie enters the season with this crazy flash over the red wall to set up good things to come.
Yeah, definitely. This is something that you probably wouldn't see when Clearlove was still on the roster, and it gives EDG a new flavor. They feel a lot younger, and in fact, they're one of the youngest teams in the LPL still, even though they've been around for a long time. So really, if you look at EDG, I would call them reinvigorated with Jinoo and with Jiejie in the roster.
Okay, I like that. I'm looking at Jiejie, I'm looking at Weiwei now, but of course HAKKR coming in. We'll talk about that in a moment. Before we do, though, let's go towards that bottom side, because there's an interesting support matchup that we don't always get to focus on, with Meiko and SwordArt being a small focus down there.
I have to say, this matchup is super important because both of these supports are the main shot callers of the team, and if their laning phase goes poorly, you can bet that the entire communication is going to get bogged down as well. So bot lane, incredibly important, and I do give a slight edge to the laning phase towards Meiko. He is more about running kill lanes, tons of Volibear, tons of Zyrakan like you mentioned, while on the other hand, SwordArt is about leaving lane and roaming for his team. He does play more defensive and more towards protecting Smlz. But either way, there can be only one side winning out on the bot.
I was going to say, it's part of that, global ambush composition. The Tahm Kench sits atop there. The Yuumi we mentioned as well. I love that Meiko's played the most Volibear in the league, which is kind of exciting because you're like, yes. Volibear doesn't look good in LPL, but Meiko loves it.
Well, I have to say, all his other support champions have been taking a ton of bans, and when there's no initiation options, he has to do it for the team. He's going to pick the Volibear and the Kai'Sa.
And while, I just need to breathe for a second, while EDG may have some strength in the bottom lane, while we may cement that Jiejie has come in an interesting flavor, this is do or die. For both teams, but for EDG, who have always made worlds from 2014 to 2018. Doesn't matter what seed, they were there. This could be the year that we're staring down the barrel of EDG, not representing the region.
EDG are trying to protect their legacy in 2019 because they have been the most successful LPL team ever. 5 Worlds appearances, 5 LPL championships so far. It really should be a celebration of their consistency, but we're jumping straight into ban picks this time. EDG do have the blue side. They selected it themselves. They used one of their dynamic side selections in Game 1.
All right, let's get to it. Fancy new stage there for the Chinese casters. They're ready to get into this. I don't often see a tri-cast on the Chinese side, Clement. So
trying something new too?
You're building up towards this round 1 where EDG and Suning here in Hongqiao throw everything down to make the glory run. Best of 5 begins. Here we go.
First thing we have to note is that EDG in their very last series actually played against Suning and beat them 2-0. In that series, they selected Akali first pick both games, and they did very, very well with it. Scout's Akali is simply unstoppable. You're not afraid of any counter pick, and it also takes away from Angel's pool. So that's the big discussion being had on Suning right now. Do we take away the Akali?
A lot of teams have favored it as first pick. You can look at the Camille there as a final ban on first phase, which is interesting to see.
Now this Camille ban is really important because we were talking to Raz, Machine, and Camille was the most important pick for the top side. Remember, Suning do not have a natural top laner. Angel used to play mid lane, and he only came into the top role this split. So if you run something like Camille and a hard ganking jungler in the top side, Angel's just not going to survive, and I don't think Maple is either. So and banning away that actually was in our prediction.
First time we're going to see Angel and HAKKR together in this kind of situation this split. Remember that HAKKR has not played since week 1 against Vici Gaming. So this is an interesting decision to bring him on. Of course, we'll talk about it more as we get into game, but into game 1, it will be the question of what this jungler will return to on the big stage.
It definitely is. HAKKR actually did make playoffs in summer of 2018, while Weiwei is a bit less experienced, I would say. I see that as a big reason he's playing right now.
Sure.
And for EDG, their blue side, the typical way that they draft is actually just getting a power pick for Scout early on, or deciding to go to just pick up their duo 1-2 punch on the 2nd and 3rd rotation. Now this time around, it looks like they're going to be holding back just a little bit and selecting the power pick, which was banned for a long time due to performance issues like global ban.
Yeah, Jace. I'd look at Kai'Sa as well, and I'll be like, that's a powerful pick for iBoy, who's favored that in the past. Smlz, a takeaway from him, although they're looking towards the Zyrakan bottom lane, which is ironic. We talked up the iBoy Meiko, the duo lane, with this powerful pick, and Suning just take it away in the first game.
Yeah, and I think Sunings are going to continue to ban initiation supports, especially the Leona. Leona Kaisa has been known as a very strong counter to the Xayah and Rakan, so I expect that to be just taken out. They don't want EDG to have the kill lane that they play around so much with. And for EDG, I think they're trying to keep their options open here. They're most likely going to look at the matchups and then decide where they want to put their solo laners. Jinoo can play the Jace as well. He's actually very good on the Jace.
Yeah, that's true. That's very, very true. See where that Akali goes here for Suning. We've got some support bans for Suning, though. It's the Nautilus we mentioned. The Aurelia taken from EDG, meaning they're expecting that another flex, of course, going to be on the cards.
Okay, so interesting. Leaving the Leona open, but going for the Aurelia. Now, Aurelia is, I believe, the most man champion behind Jiejie's Olaf against EDG because both of their solo laners are so adept at playing the champion, and it creates a lot of matchup problems for the side, or for EDG's opponent. So we're going to see that taken away. More of a respect ban just to the laning power of EDG.
Aatrox's going to be looked at here as well. Now, remember, there's something we mentioned with the global compositions that Suning like to build. Something like the Twisted Fate for Angel if he wants to take him to the top lane again, but when you see something like the Aatrox, you think that could go jungle, that goes to a solo lanes, and for Suning, game one, the draft has changed around their new jungler.
Definitely, and just giving you a bit of background information here, Maple has not actually picked Aatrox this entire split. Whenever it's been selected, it has gone towards Angel. Now, Maple himself is a very good Akali as well, so I think those are where the lanes might be going. We might get some surprises from Suning's side, but if not, if it goes usually, that's how the lanes are going to end up. And EDG, like we were talking about, Leona Kaisa, just a great kill lane.
When you're a Silas mid player, as Maple is, 13 games on it, by the way, when you ban it away first, you're like, you know what, anything's going to happen. Anything's possible. So, on the EDG side, I see a Leona, and that's become more commonplace here in the LPL. But Jinoo's gangplank, I did not rate against the Suning series, in Game 2, where he got destroyed in the top lane, where it was the rest of the map that had to carry him through. He's going to try again as we see a Skarner for Hacker's re-debut.
And the Skarner pick is something we saw in the LCK. Doesn't get going that early, but once you hit level 6, very strong kill lane with both the Akali and the Xayah Rakan. So I think Suning are going to take a step back in the early game, try to farm up a little bit more, while EDG are going to be the ones pushing the tempo.
Well, we're looking towards Hacker, and that's, you know, a Skarner pick for him, for the person that plays Kha'Zix, that I would expect to maybe pick up something like the Karthus. Big potential there, and for Suning, all right, Clement, this is not your global comp, this is not your... Everything revolves around every lane. There's a lot of focus here, drived in by Suning in Game 1.
Yeah, this is a very different approach from what we usually see from Suning. Now, Suning are going for a 1-3-1 composition. They have the Akali and Aatrox for the side lanes, but it's not a matchup where you intrinsically think that Suning are going to go for because of the solo lane advantages that EDG have. If you compare Jinoo and Scout to Meiko and Angel, I would handily give the advantage over to EDG. The way I'm reading this is Suning are kind of banking on the fact that EDG is going to make mistakes in the early game and allow them to scale up into that 1-3-1. They do have the better late game composition, so to say, but they do have to survive the onslaught that EDG can throw at them. Jace Gragas, super powerful earlier on. They can roam with a 4v2 into the bot side, have Cannon Barrage to open it up as well.
True.
So they have such a massive advantage in the bottom side if they want to go for these kill lanes on EDG.
You're playing against a team in EDG that love this early game, that have been playing a great early game throughout the regular season. If Suning are betting on that, then that's a lot of confidence with Hacker joining the mix. Where against EDG with Jiejie, who's made his debut split over Clear Love, they think they can take it, but it all comes down to this. Round 1 to see if EDG can make that golden run and continue their journey towards Worlds, or if history will be made as Suning look to challenge in this BO5 in Shanghai.
All we fight for is the slogan of the LPL. For EDG, that's going to mean defending their legacy. And for Suning Gaming, I think that means they're looking to get redemption on that spring split.
Yeah, no, it's playoffs. Enough of that nonsense. Now, Clement, before we go into this and before we start breaking down compositions, as you know, all good casters should. You've still got your wig on. What's going on? I took that off. As the camera turned off, I was in like, I just threw it off, threw it on the ground.
I kept talking, so I never found a time to take off my
I
headphones.
let you take it off. I talked a lot.
Okay. Can you talk for the next 30 seconds then?
We won't make it obvious whatsoever. Clement takes his wig off as we go into game number 1. It's an interesting start here for EDG. We can have some quick theory crafting of how they can make the run, of how far they could go, but we're far beyond that. We need to see the performance against Suning here, especially in this game 1 where they've got the bottom side focus we talked about with the GP, with Scout's ability to roam. And yeah, you will be watching iBoy this game because it's the bottom side that we land on.
I would like to quote Frostcurrent on this series. She was the biggest EDG expert we had on the team, and she used to say, you know it, I know it, everyone knows it, EDG is going to tower dive on the bot lane, and this time around, I think that's EDG's strategy exactly. They should have priority in the mid. They should have, you know, ultimate support from the top side and a kill lane in the bottom as well. So that dive is incoming, no matter what the circumstance is. And the real question is, how does Suning defend it? That's basically the make or break of this game.
I like that we're getting a quick look at Jinoo here because he's going to be very crucial to that bottom lane dive we're talking about with GP ult at level 6, as we mentioned. This man's got a very wide champion pool, a plethora, we'll call it, where he's had a couple of MVPs to go behind his back, and this game, I'm expecting some big things and a recovery from what we saw against Suning last time.
And it looks like the 4v2 starts early. EDG are taking a page out of the FBX playbook, and at the very least...
and the Shock Blast connects. Clement Hack is in a lot of trouble. We get the smite, but Scout flashes over immediately. Ignite, drop down onto the Sky. Now, he will survive, but his jungle is no longer his.
50 HP off from the kill, and EDG are laying claim to this section. EDG are basically setting themselves up for the perfect dive at this point. They're going to have wards controlled throughout level 6 until their solo lanes hit that level 6 mark, and everyone's going to come down here. So Suning should be well aware that the party is on its way. It's already in the preparation phase. It's really just about who can you rotate, how do you actually stop it from happening?
Yes. Great question, because when you have the Akali in the mid lane who decided to take on the Jace matchup, you know, the ability to roam is still there, but to get down to match that when the Kragus is now vertical jungling because he got a double blue buff, he now has the option to pick up his red and look for something in the bottom side.
Taking a look at Jinoo up in the top side, we had the Jinoo lower third come up because we had him as the X factor in this series. Remember, again, Suning do not have a natural top laner. If Jinoo does well in lane.
No, but recovery here from Hacker. Double flash burn. Hacker still wants to go in. He's like, I'm not done. But that'll at least take the top lane summoner.
Yeah, that's very important here. It will give Suning an opportunity to actually just kill off Gangplank before he can throw any support into any of the side lanes.
He's able to receive the wave as well. And why have our observers normally change the portraits? Aatrox is in the top lane. It's confusing the hell out of me, but CS is quite even. So the fact that Jinoo's keeping up so far is good news for the GP.
Definitely is the case here. Talking about Suning's defense, I think the best way for Suning to actually stave off the tower dive definitely would be just getting a kill earlier on before it can start. So once Jace hits level, once the top lane hits level 6, I expect a repeat gank. Jinoo's no longer holding on to his flash, and that should give them a nice reprieve.
Just super easy when you get the explosive cast, the solar flare. I know execution-wise for EDG it could not be simpler. And Jiejie here once again, now he's hit level 5 pretty early on in this game with the CS lead in the jungle, but that's what I'm talking about. The Zenith Blade into the shield of Duran, you set yourself up and Meiko's done the damage. Great body pop onto SwordArt. The Ignite goes down, and that was EDG just performing at their limit. Of course they get the double, because that was slick.
All too easy for EDG, really. Look at the way Suning has warded this bottom side, which is basically nothing. They were pushed up towards the tower, did not have great tabs on where the Gragas would be, and this has been a very prominent issue for Suning over the entire year, is that their bot lane pushing up a lot of times does suddenly just die to these collapses, and I have to say I'm a little bit disappointed on how easy Suning made that. They got greedy. They were about to back, and then they overstayed just trying to push the wave in.
Hacker here to pick up the pieces. We take a quick look back and we set this up. It was just so easily done.
Yeah, you have to remember Suning did opt into this themselves.
Nice.
They were already calling the recalls, came out of the brushes, and EDG were there for them.
What I love from Jiejie, not only the body slam interrupts the grand entrance from the Rakan, but he throws the barrel roll to where he's going and hits it on the way. So that was well done from Jiejie, who we didn't get a chance to talk about, Clement, but he's had some ups, he's had some downs, and you don't know what form of this jungler you're going to get on EDG.
Great prediction move from him right there. And talking about Jiejie's ups and downs, he is a very solo-oriented type of jungler that likes to put himself in dangerous positions. So when it backfires, it does backfire tremendously. And that's kind of the issues that we've seen from him. But this game around, no problem. This is very reminiscent to EDG's Game 2 versus Suning in the regular split, where they just dominated the bottom side.
Well, but for Hacker, he wants to change that in. Some flash respected. Meiko does one as well. Hacker doesn't have his own, so he can't follow up with the Impale. Predator down, double summoners in the bottom lane.
Yeah, that throws a lot of questions to that tower dive we were talking about, because this time around, Suning will have the flash advantage.
But can you find Angel here? Smokescreen's going to come down, and immediately he just walks away, so that's too easily done. But Suning down the bottom side, there's a cannon barrage on the massive wave as Maple makes the teleport in. It's a 2 versus 4. But EDG, they're going to lose iBoy first. And Suning make the plunge right on top of the support. Meiko will find his mark as well. And Suning stops the tempo that EDG were accruing.
Suning flipped the script. They were supposed to be the ones that were hiding underneath their towers, but with that gank, they follow up on it super hard. Great flash from Smlz, going forward to get the clean cuts behind the dual lane of EDG, and then getting the blade collar on iBoy. That was a great, audacious move from him.
Yeah, you pick up tower plating alongside with it. Now Suning's bottom lane in such a better position. A CS lead, the goal to pick up the BF sword and double long onto Smlz, and now suddenly I'm not so confident in EDG.
That was really unexpected coming from the dual lane of Suning Esports. First off, EDG thought they were in a strong position on the bot side, just with regards to the other two solo lanes. What they didn't expect was Hacker to stay around the area for so long.
We're coming out of a replay because Maple was looking for the 1v1 on Jinoo. Now, bringing us back to reality, it's going to be a 20 CS lead for the Gangplank. So while that was going on, the GP ult picked up the massive wave down bottom side, stayed in lane, and was able to push up for a bit of turret plating. So it's not all dark and gloomy for EDG, now relying on Jinoo to push them further into this mid game.
Yeah, sure. EDG's game plan might not work out in this particular game, but you have to give it to them. Their solo lane strength is still there. I actually think that even if they don't get the early level 6, their solo lanes should still be able to hold on to Sunings and prevent the 1-3-1 for a very long time into the game.
Yeah, true. Very, very true. For Scout, he's been able to hold Angel, but there's a CS lead in this mid lane with Seeker's arm guard picked up nice and early. Now, itemization for the Akali has been straightforward in previous LPL games, but for Angel, a lot of 80 damage on this team when you look at top, when you look at mid. We don't know what the Kaiser's building, but it's going to start off with a bit of it as Suning. Are we doing this again?
It looks like they are. Predator in, no flashes on the bottom side.
We don't have a global comp, but we're going to make it global anyway. Clement, iBoy level 6, but he's not able to use the ult just yet. Burns it to get out of there, but Smlz shuts him down as now against the turret. Meiko gets perfectly executed. Hacker lives as well. A Scout comes in, but the Aquatic great ult timing from Smlz. Suning are out again.
All too easy from Suning's side. How are they getting away with this? You think that EDG, who are trying to run the exact same game plan, would know their own moves a little bit better, but Suning are going into the bot side completely unopposed.
Yeah.
Like, Skarner was not spotted, Jiejie was not in there, and I'm actually surprised that Meiko isn't backing off of these as well. He's the shot caller of the team. He's seeing Akali leave lane, and he's still staying there.
And you look at the priority and vision, it's not like they're not seeing this coming. They're just reacting late. So now 0 and 2 on the Kaiser. iBoy's in a lot of trouble. He's 20 CS down, and this lane, this Zyra Khan lane, is getting so many resources from Suning.
That's also a pretty slow build coming in from iBoy as well. So we should expect Suning to start snowballing these into the Drakes. If it was any other Drake, I think they'll just take this one up. Oh, it's a Mountain Drake.
It's a Mountain Clement, I like it.
I thought it was a Cloud, I'm
sorry. Yeah, no, if it was, I would have given you full reprieve. It's okay. But I just love the fact that Suning this game, we talk about them being the ambush predators, the global compositions they build. Or even when it's not so global, all you need is teleport and everything will come together.
I'm just so surprised that they were able to sneak Skarner into that bottom side. If you look at the warding from EDG, it has pretty good coverage, but you know, they're still able to find the cracks there and just do this tower dive 2 times in a row.
Yeah.
And like we're talking about, Dragon's next on the menu.
And here's the thing, the Akali can join this. The Skarner's there. Do they want to contest? Because there is a control ward to spot their entrance into the river, but EDG have done this pretty damn quick, and the Skarner doesn't need it. They back away, and that'll be a small win with Dragons. Ocean coming up next.
It's always a very painful mid-game when you're behind against a Skarner composition.
True.
It really means you have to get those quick silver sashes. And iBoy, with his current build, he's already so far behind. That's a Doran's Blade, a call, half completed, not even stacking just yet from the man immune.
Yep.
So he's really far behind, and he has to take a risk right now. I think Sunny, what they're going to do is going to say that, you know what? There's no way you actually go for the Quicksilver Sash right now. We're going to continue to just focus on iBoy and take him out of the game.
It's so darn long. You're right. We've got to wait a lot of gold. It's 1,300 gold that has to be respected. And if iBoy doesn't have the damage to start his game off, then again, serious issues here for EDG's early game as Hacker joins the bottom lane fray again. Welcome back to the LPL, good sir.
Well, this time it does look like EDG are well aware and will not get caught out by the same play over and over again. However, they will quickly lose their bottom lane tower, and once that happens in the 1-3-1, you always see the strongest solo laner then being swapped toward that bottom side.
Yeah.
Make full use of that 1v1 opportunity, and we should see Suning start to control both sides of the jungle.
I mean, Scout has Hexdrinker. That might survive, or help him survive, rather, as Angel, yep, in the middle. Now going to go into Shroud. The Skarner flashes on in, has Impale. Angel does the damage with the Ignites there. The burst still available for EDG as Scout wants to find the last tick. Angel has to ult away.
Good ultimate coming from Jinoo, and they beat back Suning. They even burn a flash from the Skarner, which is super irrelevant towards their bottom lane.
It was the flash Impale here from Hacker, so you're right, there's bottom lane potential kind of thrown away as good negation, I'll say, from EDG, who are just trying to find some optimism here in this game 1.
We still have to remember EDG, even without their jungler and the kills, they can still burst down Rakan or Xayah if they ever get the chance. It's a very, very strong kill lane. The Acathian Rain, every single tick can proc Sunlight. So you can have a massive 420 damage just off of that combo.
Oh, we're having a quick look at the bottom lane. There's no ultimate available here for SwordArt, so that's going to come into a factor as Solar Flare is available for Meiko, but Smlz is a big cheese right now, and he's pushing to get that last bit of turret plating.
Yeah, realistically, EDG can only open up on SwordArt. Smlz with his cleanse is not really a viable target, so that's why you're seeing EDG just back out as soon as possible. Of course, they don't have vision either, so they're going to play this one a bit more timidly.
You got a 20 CS lead. Turret plating's now going to disappear, but Smlz doesn't care. He's going to get the turret anyway. And Suning 700 gold above now 1,000 over EDG. A bottom lane Xayah this heavy. We got some work to do in the mid game, EDG.
Does look like they will equalize with the Herald. The question is, where can you actually drop it? Because even if you have the Herald and, you know, the ability to take 2 turret platings, actually they've lost that ability, you still need a lane that's relatively close to the enemy tower to make good use out of it. And currently what we're seeing is that EDG don't really have a good lane with forward percentage whatsoever.
Yeah, like there's some, I know there's going to be a lot of stats going around this upcoming weekend as we move into more playoff games, but for Suning, it's not a team that you look at and go, oh, their stats are the best of the best in the league. They're still the 8th seed in playoffs, and you take what you can get, as you took what you could get in the bottom lane. Wow.
Just looking at the stats a little, what it was saying is that Suning do have a pretty strong early game. They have an average lead of about 200 gold at 15 minutes.
Yep.
However, later in the game, they are the 3rd most likely team to give up that lead.
Oh, I remember us talking about this.
Yeah, their late games have not been stellar, and a lot of times it has come down to the fact that they just don't have an experienced frontline or initiator. And I think that's why Hacker is coming up here. He is the more experienced out of the 2 junglers, even though we haven't seen him that much throughout the split. And he could play a good X factor in the coming games.
I also like the fact they can balance on Weiwei as well if this series does get a little bit trepidous as EDG moving towards the bot side. We saw a bit of a turret trade, but Suning still trading up on the scoreboard. It'll be Maple picking up the solo gold of that one. And he's had a pretty good start to the game despite falling behind 30 CS earlier. He's caught back up and he's moments away from picking up that first item.
I gotta say, this tower trade is completely fine for Suning.
Yeah.
Both of their side lanes pick up a lot of waves, and this is a perfect scenario for the 1-3-1. You have 2 long solo lanes that, just in terms of the matchup, EDG should not be able to keep up with. So I think this opens up the map, and is actually in favor of Suning's composition.
SwordArt just trying to clear vision. EDG almost catch him out, but Rakan's fine, clears the waterway. It was setting up for the Ocean Dragon that pushed Suning towards this mid lane.
This is EDG's best chance at coming back into the game. Their 5v5 potential at this point in time with the Jace is still tremendous. If they can lock anyone down, be the ones that are going for the initiations, they could easily burst any Suning member.
And remember, Hacker doesn't have flash here as well, so if he gets caught out, the Skarner, not tanky enough at this point, even with Cinderhulk, will die as Smlz just finds himself a Jinoo. But Smlz probably doesn't want to be there, as a good shock blast will tag him on the way out.
Yeah, it does take a lot of HP, but he does have the Biscuit and the red buff, so should be able to heal up here. And because of the side lane split pushing coming in from Macaulay, EDG have to get this one up.
Yeah, a lot of respect shown. So Ocean going to go over here to Suning, move into a mid game with a comp that can just disengage. So that'll be handy. Cloud coming up next. Now, Clement, you can frown at that one. As EDG move to the top side, we're going to see Riftail dropped. And look how far away they are. This could be set up for 2 here. Suning need to trade somewhere across the map.
Yeah, the question really here is, can Suning get the tower dive that they're looking for? We see the pings going down. Okay, so Jinoo definitely very aware.
It's going to pull off the wave as well, Clement. So Suning just have to back away while Riftail's going to get a second charge on the top side. Whether he can get it or not, that'll be the question, as Suning are trying to cave in onto Scout.
I think EDG definitely get the tower. The question is, do they have an escape strategy here?
I mean, the Riftail's going to claw at it, but Scout has stayed for a very long time, and Hacker sees him. He's like, money in the bank. Explosive Cast going to save his life. No, not before he gets pulled in. You know Scout's dead. And that was timed well by Hacker, as Riftail did get the turret, so he's a trooper.
That just feels bad from the Explosive Cask. Actually just blows Scout back towards the remaining Suning members. Nothing much that could be done there, but visually, kind of a feels bad.
Yeah, the Skarner pressed ult, so he came with him. You're right.
Thank you, Jiejie.
Yeah, captain of the ship. And while EDG may lose themselves their mid laner,
they do get the gold lead back.
They do get the gold lead back through the turret. It's an early game that, quite frankly, it feels like I could say each team's feeling each other out. You know, they're kind of just tiptoeing through this game one. And that's why partly coming into this one, I thought we're in for a longer series, because Suning and EDG at times could be each other's kryptonite.
Yeah, you have to look at it this way. On paper, EDG, just with their laners, should be heavily favored in this series. Raz went 3-0, no, Ashin went 3-0 here. And, you know, Raz and me both said that EDG should be favored. But both of us keep on getting that nagging feeling that EDG in a BO5
again
just don't feel very consistent.
We're going to explain it to our international audience, because EDG, if you're wondering why they don't have regional points, or, championship points, is because in spring they were taken out 3-0 by DMO, by Sino Dragon at
and the
time.
sad thing about that series was DMO actually ran basically the same composition 3 times in a row.
Yeah, they did.
EDG are really not known for playing clean games or adapting in BO5s. I would say for sure that they are a worse BO5 team than they are a BO3 team.
Okay. But are they the worst BO5 team in the bracket?
That's
we haven't seen LNG
question.
yet, right? So, like, I know there's a further question.
They just haven't played that many BO5s.
That's right. That's right. So, I mean, there's a lot riding on this when we talked before about how for EDG, their history has supported them getting to Worlds each and every year. A lot of first seeds in there, a second seed once, and third seed last year. If EDG lose this series, they are not going to Worlds. They are not going to regional qualifiers. They will be out, and they will make history for the first year that they have disappointed.
The streak ends. Something that spanned from 2014, it would be a huge loss to the LPL to see that one go down.
But in a way, would find a new team. And if Suning can do it, then we'd have our eyes on them, because it would be another 8th seed team, Clement, that would look to make the run from round 1. But here in game 1, we still got to focus, because Hacker gets the pull in onto Scout as Rakan goes into the ulti. Jiejie sends the explosive cast out. I'm not sure what the coordination is here. Suning disengaged. The ultimate lands on Smlz. He has to cleanse away immediately, and Again, just feeling each other out.
Yeah, that was Hacker trying to set up vision for his bot side split pusher in Angel. But what he figured out was that even though he can't Scout, Scout also did 60% of his HP in under 2 seconds. So not a great look there for Suning trying to break into the jungle.
I think Jinoo might lose this. Angel gets the Shuriken flip, but the last part of the perfect execution not going to be used. And I think we saw ourselves a cheeky little 1v1 that we might get later.
What Suning should be looking to do right here is to slow down the tempo. They don't need to rush this one. The 1-3-1 will take over against Jace, against Gameplank. Gameplank is a maybe, but definitely against Jace later on. So I feel like they should be willing to stretch this one out, and all they need to do is prevent engages in the mid lane. If you look at EDG in that previous scuffle, EDG actually had a really good chance to snag back some kills, and they would have taken mid lane tower off of it. So the way I see Suning just playing this one out, be slow, be cautious, just count the members of EDG, and try to take over their jungle when you know where their side lanes are.
Or do that. I mean, that works as well.
Definitely.
Maple.
We're talking about it. Jace, you know, great in the poke compositions, but side lanes not so much.
That's true. And look, I guess we didn't get a chance to kind of hit on the point that you talked about in Pick Ban, because this is a slower game. I expected slowness from Suning, EDG. LNG is another team that are quite slow in the LPL in our first round. And the fact that it's like this, no surprise. So I'll get this chance to ask you, Clement. Maple's Aatrox, his debut on the champion, all this time it's taken. What are your thoughts?
It looks good. It looks good. It looks fine. And this is something that I personally felt that Suning needed to change coming into playoffs, is their best individual player has actually been Angel. And I actually much prefer Angel in the mid lane rather than Maple taking the helm. So it's good to see that they're stretching out their champion pools, but they do need to avoid this cutoff from EDG.
I mean, it's Meiko and Jiejie just zoning them out, but for Suning they have the numbers advantage, while Maple's been stuck in a side lane. He doesn't want to move, but EDG will take that advantage. They'll send Jinoo there, and mid lane turret now taken, and EDG have clawed their way back, while Angel just needs something.
This is still perfectly okay for Suning, honestly. Their side lanes are getting all the gold, and that's exactly what they need in the 1-3-1. I always say this, but in 1-3-1 compositions, typically the least important towers are actually the mid lanes, which is really weird because it doesn't work that way in most compositions. But, you know, you're already pushing out the mid lane anyway, and your side lanes are your main focal points.
That's fair. We've got another one under threat here by Suning in the mid lane. Scout pushes up, but thank you to Guardian, they'll shout, as Jiejie might be caught out. The explosive cast can be used, but misses onto Angel. Great smoke screen here. He'll walk away. That's a big ultimate down at this point in the game. When that explosive cast goes out but does nothing, Suning can have a deep breath and look towards that Baron on a very serious note.
And what that really means is that they can't defend their own bottom side jungle at this point, because every time Jiejie face checks, he's going to lose half his HP. So Suning are doing a good job at stretching out those leads in the Akali. Now, just one of the things about Akali that makes her so strong in the meta and why she's always been ban-picked throughout even the worst of her nerfs is just the fact that, one, she's an assassin, and two, she has a lot of sustain and can play a split pusher role, much like Jax or Aatrox.
And when you buff the damage on Shuriken Flip, it gets even better, right? Like, when we saw that, we thought, okay, you don't have to max W second anymore. We can put some points into the E. Akali's now burst range is insane, so we've seen it so much in the past weeks of the LPL. It's been first pick worthy in the majority of series too.
And now we get to a crucial point into the game, because EDG actually do have the composition to change the playstyle on the map. They can all in for Baron at this point and just pull the split pushers into Suning. Suning haven't had a lot of experience in these situations where they have to decide between, are we going to face check into Baron, or are we going to continue the split pushing? It's always a game of you know, kind of chicken between which team actually flinches. EDG could be the one to go home and defend first and just give up the river, or Suning could be the ones going like, you know what, we have to secure this Baron.
Because you're walking towards it now, and EDG is just trying to clear out vision. There's a ward being taken here by Maple, who's in front of the pit, but he himself is looking for that one member of EDG, that person who goes too far forward. Alongside Hacker, as Jiejie is here once again. Remember that explosive cast we talked about now up and available. We get the Impale, we get the knock up, and SMLZ takes down the jungler. Suning have an advantage, and they're in front of Baron.
I gotta say, that was a really cool move from Hacker. So he held onto his flash. He was not afraid of being blown back right after the E was used. He's like, well, you missed the body slam. You can't do anything to me anymore. And Jiejie suddenly goes like, damn, I only thought about the first step and then profit. But he was missing a few calculations there.
And they get that pick, and look at where Angel is in the bottom lane. The wave shoved up, and while Jinoo has the ulti available, Suning finally starts the Baron with 5 seconds on Gragas. He won't be anywhere near.
Definitely, and Suning, you know, they're going to have sole possession of the Smite in this one. It really will come down to EDG to find those picks if they want to ward out the Baron.
Relies on the poker here from Scout and EDG. Are backing away. They're like, hey, we should go for Angel, but they've wasted too much time. The Cannon Barrage is there. The Spike will secure as Jinoo gets in the pit with the barrels. The back not going to be taken here as Scout gets the damage off Jiejie. Now joins in as well. Smlz's low. He ults, but can he get over the wall? He saves his flash for too long. The ult comes through from the Kaiser as well. EDG have taken 2. They're looking for Angel as well for the icing on the cake. And iBoy's already used that ult, so it will just be the 2 at the cost of Baron.
A bit of indecision coming from Suning. I imagine the correct answer there was just to all flash out.
Yeah,
but no,
it.
They didn't really prioritize the Baron buff whatsoever on their AD carry. Smlz holds on to his summoner and is just kind of willing to give over the kill.
You give 2 kills over, but you still, at the end of the day, you look at that and you say, that's a Suning win. I mean, you gave over 2 kills towards EDG when that Baron buff on the composition we're talking about means so much.
Definitely. Buffs up to 1-3-1. They still have it on their main side lane split pusher in
you're
Akali.
right.
And just looking at this,
Did the
SMLZ...
Aatrox fail flash? I don't know if Maple did.
Yeah, it seems like Suning kind of played for the greedy route right there. I would have just advised all
Just
flashing
take the
out.
flash. Yeah, I agree.
Just get out.
Just seems like the most simple solution. They wanted to save so much.
SMLZ didn't have a chance to use it. Once he
It's
came
like,
down,
right, I'll do this.
really well timed.
Yeah. So dying at the end of the day, we've got to look at what Suning will get after everyone respawns. The Ocean Dragon there. But now we set up those side waves where Maple doesn't have the Baron buff. That's the one thing here. Part of the 1-3-1 doesn't have the Baron buff for his solo lane.
Ooh, and I like what EDG are doing. They know he's not going to be pushing that fast. They have a 3-member hit squad going up there. But Maple, he's very experienced. He's been to a lot of worlds himself, not unlike EDG, so he sniffs that one out. And it does give Angel a lot of good time on that tower.
It'd be incredible if Suning, and this is looking towards the future, a future that people won't believe in, but imagine if Maple and SwordArt went to Worlds on a different roster apart from Flash Wolves.
Yeah, that'd be pretty odd to see, you know? It's like, oh, Flash Wolves back again. You're not Flash Wolves?
You're not Flash Wolves? What's going on?
Look, Flash Wolves live on. I know they're like the last place team in the LMS, but in the LPL, we have 3 Flash Wolf coaches in playoffs.
Yeah, we do. Fluidwind, Warhorse, and...
FPX,
and
Stake,
Stake,
RNG, and Suning. All 3 were former Flash Wolf coaches.
They come over to the to the LPL, and now looking at Suning, now looking at SwordArt Maple, they've got to pick out something pretty special here in this series. As Game 1's still not over yet. We don't have a decision. We don't have a clear favorite here. As Suning haven't been able to push these side lanes. They're getting close, but EDG still have the wave clear to follow up.
And in situations like this, it's always up to EDG, the one defending, to pick a defensive point and just make the pick. If you do not decide, then Suning will decide for you.
Shuriken flip. Jinoo just got destroyed. The ult wasn't even used, and that Gangplank has no MR.
This is a scenario that we're talking about. Basically, the worst case scenario. EDG don't find the initiation on any of the lanes, and Suning take away 3 towers.
Yeah, the mid lane gets the shove. The inner goes down. Maple takes up his own. The Akali gets the inhibitor turret, and 2 members of EDG have to control her. Jinoo used his ult as well in this 3-item GP. I mean, he may be level 17, but at this point I go, Jinoo, you need that ult to deflect for the team fight. And it's still got about 20-25 seconds on the cooldown.
EDG, like we were talking about in the early game, they don't really have the best chances with their composition. And this series has been a bit of a head-scratcher to me, because if you think about the 1-3-1, you think about strong side lanes, strong solo lanes, and EDG actually has the better solo lanes. So this is a very interesting situation where the composition matchup is actually self-inflicted. EDG are the ones that hand shook this composition where they're the ones that want to break out into the early game and just take over from the bot side. And Suning kind of ran away with both scripts.
They ran away with that bottom side. I mean, it was a big turnaround. You're right, the script was flipped, and it just didn't stop. Hacker knew what needed to be done.
EDG really need to find more output from Jiejie. I have not seen enough good engages from him to really stem the tide of Suning.
Yep.
Against a 1-3-1, they're going to continue to encroach on your territory, and it's up to you to find great initiations and just cut them off before they can spread across your territory. So I think that has been a sorely lacking point from EDG's game so far.
The 2-1 and 2 Gragas, who in the early game set up the first blood, set up the double. EDG looked clean, and that's why it's just such a shock that we did flip it upside down, where Jiejie then became stale, slowed down, was looking through mid. And now this Gragas, as you mentioned, trying to find this engage. Well, he wants to find Angel, but this is so difficult. Shuriken flips the Shroud. It's not accurate, and Angel can get away with murder.
And here comes an interesting question, because in the series versus DMO, they actually swapped out their jungler on EDG's side as well. Clearlove, actually, you know, he was never taken out of the technical lineup.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that he probably won't play, but it actually is still a technical possibility. He is inside the roster list.
Hack has changed. If I was Clearlove, I'd be sitting backstage going, well, if Hacker's back in,
maybe I should come
back. I should come back in, yes.
It would be very spicy.
I think that's food for thought as we go towards the second game, depending on how this goes, because for Jiejie, the Miracle Engage needs to come through, and Suning stacking around the mid lane with Baron now up and available. Look at the priority EDG have. There's no vision control in River, and Suning can just walk towards and force the objective.
If EDG can't find a 5v5, they're not out of striking distance. They're very close in terms of the gold lead, but they have to act now.
They really do. I mean, no one's nearby. It's the Leona, it's the Jace. Jiejie's there now too, but 5k health. They will be here in time, but it's going down quick, Clement. Cannon Barrage going to lock down the backside. Jack goes in. Jiejie's in the pit, but so down early. The spike comes through and it's secured. At minimal health, it's secured by Suning. As Explosive Cast finally marked. Flashes burn here from Suning. The Shock Blast does nothing. All 5 members get out alive.
Very interesting maneuvering from Suning. If you saw what they did, their first priority was leaving the pit, making sure they wouldn't get wiped in the team fight, and just trusting in Hacker to win the smite battle right there. That was a really risky maneuver.
They were the same level as well, so I want to have a look back at that replay, because that Baron looked like it had 20 health. And Hacker secured it, so great starting game here for Suning. One where they pick up 2 Baron buffs now. The split push horror will continue.
A very close one on Suning's part. That wasn't clean whatsoever, we have to note. Even though Angel did go in without his teleport, so that one's going to be incredibly important. They will have that advantage going into the 1-3-1 later on. You know, I think that was still a bit too close to comfort, and that really could have been a great chance for EDG to come back.
Second Baron where Smlz and SwordArt move to the bottom lane. This is the push that we're talking about, where Angel now towards the top side in what has been a longer lane. And Hacker's just roaming between, so for Suning, very clean start aside from what you just talked about. They got Triple Ocean as well, so if they lose a fight they can disengage. Then moments later they're back at full health.
Yeah, it makes it so difficult for EDG, because it means if you want to catch on the 3-man in the 1-3-1, you have to kill Smlz.
I mean, look at Smlz. Let's look at the health go up.
He's going to instantly be back at full health. So if you want to do it, it has to be a straight-up kill. You can't just call it a day with catching the support. And I believe Meiko just uses Zenith Blade there. Didn't look like it amounted to much.
He's just trying to find the engage while the top lane continues to push in. And remember with Jinoo, if he gets caught out even with that Spirit Visage, it feels like it's too late with the Akali.
Definitely
Here we go, that's what I'm talking about. Look, gonna eat an orange, jumps back in, goes golden underneath his own Cannon Barrage, and Angel is just mopping the floor with him.
It's gonna be a free inhibitor on the bottom side for Suning.
They can just rotate mid with Maple. Pushes 4 members. EDG look distraught. They can't defend this.
This is a good ultimate setup. If Meiko can land the ultimate, then iBoy can fall in for the kill.
But they've been trying to get Angel all game, and they haven't. They can't deal with this Akali. Meiko looking for an engage. Zenith Blade misses onto Maple. He walks up and so easily done as Angel's just going to come back in with Baron buff.
Come on, EDG, you have to fully commit. You've committed to an early game composition. You have to commit to the initiation as well.
Scout's going to do something. Ignite's going to go down, but the Shroud buys a lot of time onto Scout, half health. Angel going to get ulted onto, goes golden, and Maple's going to come in for the re-engage. Flash away from Angel. Will die to the auto attack, but Jinoo dies. Smlz while Jiejie is stuck in the middle. Suning are going to force a flash out of the jungle as well. Explosive Cast does nothing. And EDG just get taken to the hospital after one simple play. They get the Akali, but Weldon is there. EDG distraught after this game. One caught in the corner. iBoy gonna get dunked on as well. He pulls into the stopwatch, but Scout is getting shredded meanwhile. EDG lacks the communication here in this final fight. And as Meiko watches his team dies, he too will join the chamber. And Suning go for the win after what already is EDG's back in the wall. And Suning trying to start their run-off right here in round 1 of playoffs.
Suning pull off a massive upset. The 8th seed versus the 5th seed. On paper, EDG, the heavyweights of this side of the playoff bracket. They take a huge shocker by dropping to Suning earlier on. And we're seeing a lot of the same problems that plagued them during their regular split run still surface right here. The lack of communication between Jinoo and the rest of the team, and Jiejie not really performing to his start of season highs so far. EDG are going to have to look for some quick fixes.
And remember, EDG so far in playoffs of 2019 are winless. That continues here in this very first game. Not a good sign, but for Suning, they control the majority of that game, and their side lanes took over.
Definitely was the case right here, and it's really a bit of a shocker. This was not about the raw talent from the players, but it was about the matchups. Akali and Aatrox, with the sustain they have, they're just naturally better 1-3-1 champions. And EDG kind of threw all of their eggs into the same basket, going for that early game, saying, you know what, we're going to play it risky style. We're going to say it's ride or die before 15 minutes. And unfortunately for them, after the early game didn't work out, they never found clean initiations to stem the tide from Suning.
I mean, iBoy and Meiko experienced hell down in that bottom lane, a bottom lane that was set for success. You're right again. Jinoo on the gangplank, there was one goal in mind, and that was never achieved. He was a big split push threat. But then it got to that point where you're like, well, actually, Angel is better.
He used most of his ultimates on himself.
Yeah, he
Your
did.
comp doesn't work after that
Again,
one.
Jinoo's gangplank, a lot of questions, and a pick that doesn't characterize him as a player.
Well, I will say that EDG overall is still a very bottom side focused team. If you look at the gold share, Jinoo actually gets the 4th least amount of gold of all the LPL top laners. So he's mainly used as just a very good defensive counter pick. We'll counter pick him something, but we don't throw resources to him necessarily.
Yeah.
I think that's why the Camille pick was so crucial in the ban phase for Suning. Yeah, we talked about it during our playoff preview that Camille would be the big pick for Jinoo. If they have that, they can crush whoever Suning sends top lane, and I hope that's the strategy EDG will go for next time. Your bottom side difference, Meiko plus iBoy versus Smlz versus plus SwordArt, they're almost on even footing. I would say maybe EDG's a 9, but Suning's definitely still an 8. On the top side, however, you can stretch that distance a lot more.
You definitely can. I'm excited to see Suning as a prospect making the run. And again, I know it's a little bit early. I know no one had a dream this time. But the 8th seed starts off strong. And remember last time with JDG and WE in this side of the bracket in spring playoffs, it was JDG that started off strong from memory, took us to all 5 games. And this feels like it could go the distance with an EDG that struggled to actually hold on.
Yeah, so I have to say, this dream's going to be a little bit far-fetched because currently Suning have 0 points in Spring. If they want to make it to Worlds, at least a 3rd place finish to get into Gauntlets.
Yes.
That's what they're facing.
That's hard.
It's incredibly difficult.
That's incredibly hard. It starts with this run against Suning. They're already a game down. We'll see if they can recover right after this break.
这边又打起来了，冰柱，哇，巨魔也来了，能杀吗？开启了一个秒表，
得退一下。
来自中路的沙皇，这一波国豪应该是先要被 BBQ 给带走。
但骷髅来了，
骷髅这时候飞机的战斗能力不够强 ，Meiko 在后方配合正面的微微。
All right, let's see. We're going for a pick on the Angel.
Now has the World Ender available. Flash 2. Can he take on the 1v2 as Huatien comes on in to teleport there as response? A set Angel has the damage to follow through as Huatien will get the shield out. Angel here, the final chapter. Smlz brought a cap with him. And Angel, you know he's going to get this or at least find something close. Smlz flashed into it. Spell shield.
What we get out of this one should be easy. No summoners there for Smlz.
As I say that the FLICKR drag hits up the Yuumi instead. The final chapter does come out lockdown too, but one guy deletes him to go golden. One guy trying to survive around as the teleporter comes through. Suning already find two. They've got the Aatrox in the perfect position too. Huatien now going to get cornered out.
TES, or do they want it right now? They have got Nico. Nico has Pop Blossom off to the side to the right. They need to be so damn careful. This could be huge to the side of Suning.
He's still unspotted. Smlz, I'm sorry, Meiko waiting for his position to go in, and
Here
there
we
we go.
Requiem with the Pop Blossom is just huge damage, and that's going to be the Silas Pops night. So they look to maybe go for something good. Collapse could potentially be coming down here. Here's a wall of pain coming in. They're just trying to go for something. Destiny comes out though, and the Aki's going to have to be eaten up, spat back out to try and get him away. But here comes the big team fight. There's 2 kills straight away. Requiem comes down, but it's only to soften everybody up.